You're standing in the kitchen and you hear it, your own voice, out loud. Okay, keys, phone, wallet. Nobody's home. You didn't decide to say it. It just came out. Or you're in the car, still replaying yesterday's argument, except now you're saying your side out loud to the windshield, winning it this time. Or you drop something and before you can stop it, "Oh, come on, really?" to the floor. Or you walk into a room, stop, and mutter, "Wait, what did I come in here for?" And somewhere in the back of your mind, a small, slightly worried thought raises its hand. Am I doing this a lot? Is it weird that I talk to myself this much? Should I be hiding it better? You catch it. You glance at the window. You lower your voice. Here's what that little worry gets completely wrong. Somewhere along the way, you picked up a label. Talking to yourself out loud is what crazy people do. A sign the wires are coming loose. Something a little embarrassing to be smothered the second someone walks in. So you treat it like a bad habit. You keep it quiet. You apologize for it. Sorry, just thinking out loud. But that label has the whole case backwards. This isn't a glitch in you. It's code that's been running for a very long reason.
The sound of you talking to yourself is not the sound of a mind breaking down. It's the sound of a mind doing exactly what it was built to do, out loud where you can finally hear it. And here's the twist, the label never sees coming. The people who talk to themselves the most are often the ones who think the sharpest and study themselves the fastest. Let me show you why.
I'm Cody, and today we're decoding the psychology of people who talk to themselves. Let's open the case file. Because you're losing it is the lazy verdict. It's the answer people reach for when they haven't actually looked. The real story is older, stranger, and honestly, kind of beautiful. And it starts when you were about 3 years old, narrating a pile of blocks. 4 clues. Follow them with me.
Let's trace this all the way back. Watch a small child play alone, and you'll hear a running commentary. Put the block here. No, the red one goes on top. Psychologists have a name for it: private speech. Kids narrate themselves out loud through anything hard. It isn't for anyone else in the room. It's how a young brain learns to steer itself, turning a plan into words and then following its own words like a set of instructions. And here's the part nobody tells you. That voice never actually leaves.
As you grow, most of it just goes underground. It becomes the silent inner voice you think in all day. But the moment a task gets hard enough, it climbs right back out into the open air. Which is why you talk out loud when you're concentrating hardest, assembling the furniture, following a new recipe, hunting for your car in a giant parking lot. Notice the pattern? The harder the moment, the louder the voice gets. Think about the last time you carried something heavy up a staircase and caught yourself counting the steps out loud. Or talked your way through a tight parallel park. Okay, cut the wheel, now straighten. Nobody taught you to do that as a grown adult. You just reached back for it. You're not regressing to childhood. You're reaching for the very first tool your mind ever built for guiding itself, the original operating system, still running underneath everything. Clue 2 is hiding in something you do without thinking. Next time you've lost your keys, try saying the word out loud, keys, keys, while you scan the room. You'll probably find them faster, and that's not a coincidence. In one experiment, people searching for a specific object found it quicker when they said its name aloud than when they searched in silence. Saying it does something that silent thinking doesn't. The spoken word works like a spotlight. It grabs your goal and holds it up in front of your attention, so the clutter dims and the one thing you want stands out. Because here's the uncomfortable truth about your working memory. It's tiny, and it leaks. It drops what you're holding the second something interrupts. Speaking a goal out loud pins it down. Okay, first the email, then the dishes. Now the plan survives the interruption. It's the same reason you mutter your list on the way to the store. Milk, bread, don't forget the milk. Instead of trusting it to stay put on its own. The words are a handle. They give a slippery thought something you can actually grip. That's why the busiest people so often narrate themselves through the chaos. When you talk your way through a hectic morning, you're not coming apart at the seams. You're working a focus tool most people never learn to run on purpose. Now, clue 3. And this one changes how you'll hear yourself. Listen to how you talk to yourself when things actually go wrong. A lot of people, in the hardest moments, quietly stop saying I. Okay, you've got this. Breathe. You've handled worse than this. Feel the shift? Suddenly, you're not the one panicking. You're the calm voice coaching the one who is. Researchers studying this found something striking. Using your own name, or you, instead of I, even silently in your head, measurably lowers stress and helps people perform better under pressure. They call it distanced self-talk, and it works like stepping back from a painting you've had your nose pressed against. When a feeling is a storm you're standing inside, switching to you walks you a few steps out of it.
Far enough to see the storm instead of drowning in it. It's the same reason you can steady a scared friend even when you can't steady yourself. Distance makes you wise. Picture it. You're about to walk in and say something hard, and your heart is going fast. In your head, it's, I can't do this. I can't do this. Then something switches. Okay, you can do this. Walk in, say the first line. That's all. Same person, same fear, but now there's a coach in the room. Talking to yourself in the second person isn't your identity splitting in two. It's you handing yourself the same steady, patient voice you'd give someone you love.
Which brings us to the final clue, the one the crazy label gets most backwards. Your brain is a social organ. It was built for conversation, for thinking things through with another person. So when there's no other person in the room, it doesn't power that machinery down. It simply turns it inward. That's why you rehearse the hard conversation in the shower, playing both sides. Why you coach yourself through something scary. Come on, one more, almost there. Why explaining a problem out loud, to yourself, to the dog, to an empty kitchen, suddenly untangles it when staring at it in silence got you nowhere. Hearing a thought out loud is not the same as just having it. Out loud, a vague fog becomes an actual sentence, one you can finally hold up and inspect.
Programmers even have a name for this. They call it talking to the rubber duck. Explain your stuck problem out loud to a little rubber duck on the desk, and the answer tends to arrive mid-sentence. You know the feeling. You go to ask someone for help, you start laying out the problem out loud, and halfway through the sentence you stop because you've just answered it yourself. They never even had to speak. Saying it turned the knot into a thread you could pull. You're not talking to yourself because nobody's there. You're aiming the oldest support system your species ever built, gently and quietly, back at yourself.
So let's close the file on the word crazy. Talking to yourself isn't a symptom you caught. It's a set of tools, the same ones you were born using. The narrator that steers you through the hard task, the spotlight that holds your focus, the calm voice that talks you down, the companion your social brain turns inward when the room goes quiet. Every one of those is your mind taking care of itself, out loud. Now, one honest note, because you trust me to give you the real answer, not just the comforting one. There's a narrow exception. If the voice doesn't feel like your own, if it says things you never chose to think, if it commands you or frightens you, that's a different signal, and it's worth talking to a professional about. That's not the everyday muttering we're decoding here. But the running commentary in the kitchen, the pep talk in the car, the where did I put my phone to an empty hallway, that's not you losing your grip. That's you keeping it. This was never a bug. It's a feature. A mind that learned a very long time ago how to keep itself company and keep itself steady. So the next time you catch yourself mid-sentence with no one around, you don't have to lower your voice. You can just let it run. Here's my question for you. What's the one thing you always catch yourself saying out loud when no one's around? Drop it in the comments. I genuinely want to read them. And if this made your own voice make a little more sense, there are more cases waiting where this one came from. Subscribe and we'll decode the next one together. Case closed. For now, I'm Cody.